working ladies. Yeah.
Let's get chop, right?
That's right. Time's wasted. Daylight's wasting, my dad used to say to me. Daylight's wasting.
So what time is early?
4:35.
6:30.
What did you say, Councilor Jones?
4:35.
4:35?
4:30 to 5.
Oh wow, yeah, that's early.
When I wake up, sometimes I sleep in until 5:50.
I wake up usually around 5, but I don't usually get up till 6:30.
Yeah.
We are now live, councilors.
Okay, good morning, councilors. Are we ready then, Julian?
Yes, ma'am. You are live.
Okay, good morning, councilors. Good morning to the public. This morning we are having our internal operations committee meeting on this beautiful January 25th of 2021. And just very quickly, I will read into the record. Public comment will not be taken at this meeting. We have 5 councilors that are on this call and on this Zoom meeting, rather. And for viewing, members of the public will have the ability to view the meeting on YouTube at the address provided on the screen or via Zoom webinar. You can access the Zoom webinar by following this link, entering the room information manually, or by calling in via telephone. And that information is provided on the screen. So I guess unless the other 4 councilors join us, we will consider them excused this morning. If they do join us, we will have their names on the record. So we will start with number 1, which is office updates. Stephanie Yara, would you like to proceed?
Yes, Madam President, thank you, and councilors, good morning. I just wanted to give you some updates, and hopefully we'll go pretty quickly. Let me know if you have any questions, and then later Jesse will give us an update on our department's budget. So first of all, I wanted to let you know that we are moving on doing the enclosure on the front office area. I did send to you all the plan that was provided by DMD to enclose the front desk with ballistic glass. I am hoping that that will get done before we have to actually come back into our office in a normal situation. And thank you, councilors, for approving the use of some of our money. We moved it over to CIP to pay for the improvements. Any questions about that? I did, like I said, the plans are out in the packet. I don't know if anybody, I'm not technical enough to go through them, but I'm working with DMD to get that going. So any questions on that one?
My raised hand isn't working, so maybe, Madam Chair, Madam President?
Yes, go ahead, councilor.
Thank you. So Stephanie, are we putting this out to bid? Are we using city staff? How are we doing this? Do we have I don't care to have a price on it. You've done that. I don't need to ask that, but what do you anticipate is the once started the construction timeframe?
So I'm not sure about the time frame. I'm waiting on DMD to get back to me. They did do procurement based on their on-call engineering firms. So Mr. Motzko's office did that all for us, the facilities guys. I'm actually just waiting to hear back from them to see when we can start, and I will let you all know how long we anticipate that will take. I have that information.
Thank you, Stephanie. I think this is something we've needed for at least a decade, and it's a great time to do it. We don't have anybody there. We're not going to bother very many people. So thank you very much for taking this step.
Yeah, and I apologize for it having taken so long. We had started before the pandemic with another vendor, and then things got a little muddled, so we had to restart. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Councilor. I would also just mention at this point that Councilor Pena, Councilor Sena, and Councilor Gibson have also joined us.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, if there's no questions about the front office upgrades, I'll move on to item B. So DTI, City DTI and GovTV, Mr. Lucero have been working during the pandemic to get us a quote for upgrading our audiovisual system in the chambers. So we are, again, really close to getting that project started. We have asked that that be done as soon as possible. The upgrades will include new cameras, better TVs. It will include integration into a WebEx meeting format, which is a lot like Zoom. So the council will be able to hold in-person, virtual, and hybrid meetings from chambers. Also, they're going to upgrade the AV system itself so that our staff have a touchpad at the front staff desk, and they can control sound and everything from there. And we can create custom settings for each of our meetings so we don't have to fiddle with all of the AV equipment every time. So something that I have been hoping for a while, and it's again finally coming to fruition. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about that.
Are there any questions from counselors?
Madam
Counselor
President.
Jones? Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Jones and then Counselor Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. Stephanie, is WebEx the same one that Water Authority uses?
Yes, it is.
We're going to need some training. That is a very difficult and not a user-friendly system.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's what Water Authority uses, but I will make sure that DTI gets us all the training we need, and we won't go live until we know what we're doing. So.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Counselor Davis?
I just want to say thank you, Steph. I know you've been working on both of these projects for a while, but this one in particular, I think, is a big deal, and I'm glad we're using the downtime to do it. Like, this is something long overdue, and I think it'll make everybody's life easier for those of us who have to squint at the end of the dais to see the TV screen or to hear someone who's speaking. I think this is fabulous. So thanks for working on this, and thanks to DTI for trying to rush this while we have this downtime. And please keep us updated on it. Thanks.
Any other counselors? I just wanted to, I'm sorry, go ahead. Counselor Bassan.
Thank you, Madam President. And it glitched a little bit over here. Steph, did you say that it was we were going to get new microphones too? Because I remember in my very brief time on the dais that some of them weren't working.
Actually, they're not going to replace the mics. They said that they were fine. It might have been the AV system itself that was creating problems with those microphones. So we're hoping this will fix those issues.
Okay.
If there is a mic that is broken, we would get it replaced.
I just remember we were all sharing it towards that short
okay.
at the end, but thank you.
So, if I may,
Counselor Gibson?
thank you. So I think that Counselor Davis said it, but I just want to confirm that the monitors that we look at to see whatever's being projected from the podium, are those going to be larger, Steph?
Yes, we're going to replace them with, actually, some of them are pretty new, but we are going to put in more TVs so that if there is a hybrid situation, the counselors on the dais can see through that other monitor the folks that are on the phone or, calling in through a WebEx. I will ask them about making that TV larger so you can see it better.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And you're talking about the one that's in front of the staff table that faces you?
Well, I don't remember now. I remember squinting at the small monitors.
Okay.
And I don't know if what gets projected up there also gets on the larger screen in front of you guys.
Yeah, it's supposed to, but we're going to work through all of that, and I'll let you chime in once we're close about the TVs and the TV setup. So
Okay.
once I know a little more. Mhm.
Appreciate it.
And Stephanie, I just wanted to mention, since Counselor Jones mentioned it, I think all of us probably are going to need a little training on that. So if you could do that. The other question that I have is with regard to, I know that some of the staff has talked to me about, they have their back to the audience and they have no protection there. So are you guys working on that also? So
that one's a little trickier because it is a public building, and members of the public are allowed to go there in a normal situation. It's a little hard for us to manage putting up different barriers. I have been in contact with APD since I was director to try and get an assessment, a tactical assessment for our staff. I am one of those people who has their back to the door, and all of our staff and all the audience. So I'm hoping that APD will help us put together a plan that we're comfortable with. And maybe they have some suggestions on how we can improve the layout of chambers to keep everybody safe. So I would appreciate all your all the counselors helping me get that done. So
Thank you. I know safety is important to me and it's important to all the counselors, especially for our staff. So just keep us posted on that. Any other questions from counselors regarding that? No? Okay, then we'll move on to number C.
okay. So as you all know, the county is moving out of City Hall eventually, and it's coming up a little sooner than before. The administration is going to start reaching out to us about what our plans are once the county moves out, what our wishes are for our offices. I relate to Mr. Padilla, Isaac, that I think we should really stay on the 9th floor because we have all of our committee rooms set up with all the AV equipment. We're about to enclose the front desk. I think it just, cost-effective wise, it makes more sense for us to stay on the 9th floor. So just putting that out there, if you guys want to think about that, they will get some meetings set up to start talking about that with us. So.
Any comments from counselors regarding that?
I obviously agree with Stephanie. We're settled in. We most of us like our offices, and it works well. I mean, the only thing that would change, of course, is we could each have our policy analysts right outside our door, but that's not going to happen anywhere. So, and we've done some major remodel. We have furniture that fits everything now. I think, Stephanie, you're right on with this. Let's save our funds for when we need something really essential.
I think it's from an efficiency standpoint and effectiveness. It'd be nice if we could take over risk management section.
Yeah.
That would be, if they moved, then we would have more space and counselors could stretch out a little.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen. So, like I said, they'll be scheduling meetings with us, and we'll talk through that.
Do you have a floor plan for that whole area that we could?
I only have a floor plan for our side of the office that I can send to all of you guys. And that was done the last time we did upgrades to the front area, so in the kitchen. Let me send you
Counselors, any other questions? Stephanie, do you anticipate a date that the county would be moving?
I don't know what that date is specifically. I heard it was this summer. But that again is not something that's been relayed to me specifically.
Thank you.
So Cynthia, I got a question real quick.
Counselor Gibson?
Is anybody going to be moving in to occupy some of that space, or is the city just going to spread out more or bring in people who are working from other locations?
Madam President and Councilor Gibson, I believe that's what DMD is working out right now, and facilities about who's moving where, which remote locations could be just brought into City Hall. So they're really doing that assessment now. So I don't have any clue what that's going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for keeping on top of that. So then I guess if there are no further questions, we'll move on to staffing issues.
Thank you, Madam President. Just wanted to give you all an update. I sent out the most recent org chart for our department. I don't know if, Julian, if you have a copy of that, there you go. So basically, you were aware that Nathan came on as District 2 Council Analyst, and we moved Diane Dolan over to help with your capital project. So that was one change that was made here. We do still have a vacant legal advisor analyst position that Chris has been is looking to fill. Unfortunately, again, with the pandemic, it was a little bit difficult for our office to reach some of those law students that had graduated. And so we're getting that back going here. There is another vacancy on the left side of this org chart, which actually we are about to fill. So we created an admin coordinator position. And this really is mainly to help Crystal with all of the IPRA requests that we receive. So this person's task will mostly be handling IPRAs and then handling our human resources piece when we have hires or terminations, or we have to put out job descriptions. So we did choose a lady. Her name is Nivea Barasa, and she's coming to us from the county clerk's office. City clerk's office. She has experience with APD IPRA requests and handling those. So she came over from APD actually to the city clerk's office, and she has a lot of experience with IPRA. So we're really excited to get some help for Crystal there. The other thing I wanted to speak to you all about is now that things have settled a little bit and I have Jesse working on the budget stuff, he has graciously taken over some of the duties that Ms. Marcus Victoria was doing for us in regard to handling our accounts payable and our purchasing requisitions and contracting, processing them through the system. So I feel like there is probably a need now to replace that function. I really want to free up Jesse to work on this budget stuff. This is a little bit too administrative, I think, for him to work on along with all the other stuff that he has. So I'm asking the council, and just, I think there's a need for me to hire such a person. It would be another admin type position. So just wondering what you all think about that, and if that makes sense.
Stephanie, is that a full-time position?
It would have to probably be full-time, given that we do process a lot of your sponsorships and other large like MOUs and intergovernmental agreements. So I think it would be a full-time position, helping with basically following up with making sure we're getting our bills paid. Probably a little bit of our purchasing card, or what we call P card piece. So Jesse is also taken on.
Any other questions of Stephanie? Councilor Pena, Councilor Sena? Nope.
No.
Okay, Steph, I guess we'll move on. We defer to you for the needs of our office. I mean, you're the one who runs our day-to-day operations, so.
Okay. I'll start looking into how I can make that happen, if that's agreeable. All right.
Okay, well, Councilor Sena, did you have a question? No. Okay, then we will move on to department budget update.
Thank you, Madam President. I think Mr. Muniz is on, and he's going to go over the latest update for our quarterly update.
Thank you. Thank you, Steph. Can I share, or will Julian share the Excel spreadsheet that was sent out? All right. So just at a high level overview, 6 months into the year, Julian, if you could scroll down just a little bit, please, to the bottom. I just want to show that, there you go, thank you. As of right now, we're projecting to be about $679,000 under budget for the year, which is really good. That is considering that our budget from last year was cut, I believe, by about $300,000. So we are doing really well in terms of our fiscal responsibility here in City Council. This is the high level overview. What you don't see, there's about, I'd say about $100,000 worth of sponsorships that are in the pipeline right now that you don't see. A big one is with Bernalillo County and MOU with them on Tiny Home Village. And then there's a couple of small other ones that are running through the pipeline. So about 100,000, but still we would be projected to be under budget for the year, even based on those numbers. Let's see, if you could, Julian, click on the, I think it's AP to GL by vendor tab. Third tab, you were just there. There you go. This is just a list of our payments so far through the year through the accounts payable system, combination of our just daily operations, sponsorships that have been out there. We just kind of keep track of those throughout the year so that we can maintain where any big spend may be. Everything in this list is pretty standard. There's nothing that is out of the ordinary or anything that is eye-opening or causes to be over budget, but we do like to list this out on a monthly basis. So if there's any questions on any of those, feel free to let me know and I can dig in on anything that you need to. But
Any questions, counselors? Guess not, Jesse.
thank you.
Madam President, if I may.
Go ahead, Counselor Gibson.
Thank you. My question is, are we spending less? Is our budget expenditures less because we're not in the office? What do you think?
Yes,
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Madam President, Councilor Gibson, I would say, oh, and Jesse can chime in, but we're not spending as much money on food, supplies, travel. So yeah, we are saving a lot of money this year
Great.
compared to others.
Okay, thanks.
So at the end of the year, I have a question. That money reverts back into the general fund, right?
Yes, it does.
Madam President,
Counselor Bassan?
thank you. So is it going to be safe to assume that perhaps we should prepare that if and when we do go back, we're going to need to continue to have the budget that we currently have, even though we're going to be, we're still making money on it? I mean, I would hate for us to change it and forget about that part and then end up being in the red later when we do start returning back to work.
Yes, Madam President and Councilor Bassan, we haven't made any sweeping changes to our budget for that reason. I knew this year would be an outlier, and we want to maintain what we need to run on a regular year. So I haven't made any drastic cuts. Most of the cuts we make are in contractual, where there's sponsorships or extra money that flows through for certain entities. So that's really where we make our cuts when we have to.
Any other questions of the counselors? I think that's a great question, Counselor. But we have a projection, right, every year. So we have an idea of, and usually it's pretty consistent.
Yes, Madam President, the Budget Office actually gives us quarterly projections and we are in contact with them on a regular basis. So they're watching us too.
Any other questions? Counselor Pena?
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Yetta, I was just wondering, has there been an analysis done in terms of the savings with the electricity and all that, just in our department? And then, I don't know if you've talked with the administration just as a whole, because as you know, the study that was conducted for people working from home, I really would like for us to think about that moving forward and what that looks like for council, because I don't know how everyone else feels, but as for myself, even me, I feel like, there's a sense of more productivity, even working from home in terms of, just workflow and it just, so anyway, I guess that's a long-winded question.
Madam President, Councilor Pena, so let's see, your first question was, I just forgot. Oh, utility savings. So for our office, they didn't break it down specifically by department or office. So I think they've just done an overall review of the utility costs at City Hall, and we're part of that. However, the telecommute analysis that you commissioned or asked for from the budget office should be coming to you formally soon as an EC. Basically, that study suggests that a hybrid model would be best for some city employees. So the combination of working in the office a few days and at home a few days. I think that in some ways, the telecommute situation has been good for our staff. You know, of course, your analysts come and go as they need to. So I would be open to looking at, you know, extending more of a telecommute kind of option to our staff who would want it. So we already have a few people who were on a schedule. Like for instance, one of our employees would work from home every Tuesday or Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm open to that for sure.
Thank you, Madam President.
Counselor, I don't know if your study, if you have this in your scope or not, but maybe it should be included, or somehow we need to get this information as the level of productivity from you know, staff from working at home, because it's much harder to track, you know, productivity. So Steph, that's something you really need to think about a little bit.
Yeah, Madam President, so they've already actually completed the analysis. We're just waiting for it to come to you legislatively. I think the problem with measuring productivity is that we don't have a baseline. So it would be hard to know during this last year whether productivity went up or down, because we don't know what it looked like before we went into COVID. So I think that would likely be an issue. Yeah.
The reason I asked that question is moving forward, and I understand in the past, but moving forward, you know, I think it's important that we start maybe looking at what that level might be. Maybe get some feedback from somebody out there, some consultant out there, or maybe get human resources to help us, you know, give us sort of some indication of what a baseline would look like. Because I mean, I'm hoping that we're back in by the fall, but if we're not, you know, it'd be important for us to know what we're dealing with, or at least be able to track some sort of, you know, result. Any other questions?
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we can also just make sure to be aware of that issue as we go into the operating budget process for next year.
Counselors, any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to the share screen because I don't have I'm working off my my iPad, counselors, because my computer is at IT. So bear with me. Okay, any other budget items? Okay, so then we will move on to tab 3, and that is other business. Do any counselors have any items under other business? I do, actually. I wanted to mention to counselors that I've been trying to get us scheduled for the vaccination, and unfortunately have been unsuccessful. I don't know if counselors have received their vaccinations or not, but for those of us who have not, I talked to Julie Baca on Friday, and she's trying to push it forward for us. And I haven't received any new information regarding that. So just to let you know that we are trying to get counselors that have not received that vaccination vaccinated. Any other business to come before the committee? If not, we will adjourn. Thank you all. Have a great day.